In the hushed corridors of Buckingham Palace, a solitary whisper shatters the regal silence. A letter never meant for royal eyes. Before the dawn, alliances will shift, secrets will unravel, and the royal family will never be the same again. But what could provoke Princess Anne to secretly reach out to Prince William? Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. To those familiar with the inner workings of the royal family, the bond between Princess Anne and Prince William is a silent yet unyielding force. It's an unspoken connection, often hidden beneath the surface grandeur, yet undeniably significant. In many ways, it is the quiet backbone of a family perpetually scrutinized by the world. Their bond is an echo of history whispered across generations, where shared ideals and discreet glances form an alliance of understanding and trust. On this particular evening, shrouded in outward calmness, an intangible tension lingers in the air, hinting at the monumental change lurking just beyond the horizon. Princess Anne, renowned for her unwavering commitment to duty and tradition, bears the weight of this night with a rare mix of determination and apprehension. Known as the steadfast pillar of the monarchy, she is the epitome of controlled composure. However, the urgency lacing her actions tonight tells another story. Under the dim light of her private chamber, she scribes her thoughts, measured, deliberate, yet tinged with an urgency that betrays the storm within. Each stroke of the pen mixes trepidation with sheer resolve, marking a departure from the hoary protocol she has long upheld. The magnitude of what she's doing isn't lost on her. Breaking royal protocol carries not just the potential for scandal, but whispers of rebellion within the walls that have stood witness to centuries of history. The consequences loom like an ominous shadow, casting potential fractures in the very foundation of the world as they know it. This correspondence, shrouded in secrecy, poses a dangerous risk. It defies the invisible chains of lineage and duty, binding them, presenting a challenge to the core of royal tradition. But in the silent end of it all, she believes in the inherent necessity of the act. It is a call to reframe destinies and plunge into the depths of revolutionary change. Though merely a few lines on parchment, this letter holds the weight to alter the course of monarchic legacy. With each moment slipping by, the stakes stand stark and immutable, holding the power to transform alliances and unravel mysteries tightly woven into the fabric of their majestic saga. The anticipation is almost palpable, charging the air with an electric expectancy of unravelment. As the ink dries on Anne's fateful letter, a new dawn awakens with secrets waiting to be unveiled. The letter slipped into Prince William's hands, ignites a firestorm within, caught between familial loyalty and unimaginable truth. As he unravels his aunt's hidden message, William faces a crossroads: protect the monarchy or embrace the revelation. In that quiet room filled with ancestral echoes, William's heart thundered, wrenching against the silence. Confusion surged first, waves of disbelief crashing against the firm bastions of loyalty ingrained since childhood. Here lay the shadow of betrayal, tucked in his palm, awaiting either a warrior or a guardian in its steward. The letter spoke in riddles, each line a whisper, veiled in the cloak of the family's honored pretense, yet sharp enough to carve his clear path into chaos. It struck him, this delicate dance of truth and pretense, leaving him suspended before a precipice he dared not name. In the secrecy of his thoughts, William battled his own turmoil, a relentless storm of duty versus conscience. He saw his aunt in his mind, her eyes mirrors of wisdom draped in melancholy. And for a moment, he heard her voice, the cadence of home and heartbreak. She had penned these words in a bid to reach beyond the constraints of her silence, ensnaring him in a moral dilemma, both noble and damning, to protect the very fabric of the royal identity, handed down through centuries of sacred tales and solemn oaths, or to let the truth breathe and potentially unravel what was unfathomable in its exposure. Hints of a conspiracy shimmered at the edges of each sentence, teasing a nefarious network interwoven with threads he could scarcely grasp without burning his hands entirely. These hints were not new wounds, but bruises inked into his lineage long before his time, laden, enduring, and perilous in their persistence. William teetered at this new precipice, urged on by mere whispers urging him to peer further into darkness. This clandestine burden gnawed at his peace, painting shadows beneath his eyes and carving new lines across his brow. A burden he had never wished for, but now held nonetheless, its gravity not entirely his own, but its impact entirely felt. He could feel the weight as he shifted from room to room, connecting unseeable dots, a confident to secret knowledge that threatened to fracture the very foundation of his world. It was a heavy crown, this knowledge, and it pinched cruelly with the gleam of thorns. What loomed ahead seemed almost too dire to contemplate. Should such truths unfurl within the public domain, the ramifications could shake the monarchy to its roots, just as they had shifted the tectonic plates within his soul. Such betrayal given voice might cast shadows deeper and more ruthless than any public scorn spoken from streets below castle walls. His mind sketched scenarios, words like scandal and scandalous dancing morbidly in vibrant hues. It prodded fears, hinting at a disintegration of trust and an inevitable splintering of bonds held precious. Disgrace, defamation, these were ungentle spectres lurking, waiting to lurch from dormancy to devastation. Yet amidst this turmoil, a resolve took form, inchoate but gaining structure. The oath of a prince pulled against the passion of a man, and as he weighed justice against loyalty, the scales lay conspicuously uneven. Before him stood the inevitable decay of once strong alliances. Within him, a heightened resolve for quiet strength. Asterisk, with the letters ominous truth weighing heavily, William's resolve is tested as alliances within the palace begin to crumble. Asterisk, win the quietude of a late evening, where shadows stretched long and the glow of the waning daylight lent an eerie calm. The king's sanctuary of solitude was about to witness the tremors of an upheaval. A letter, innocuous in its initial appearance, lay in waiting, shrouded in mystery and augmentation. It had been intended strictly for William's eyes, existing only in the arcane crevices of secret exchanges. But fate, that inscrutable weaver of destinies, cast its decisive hand, allowing the king to intercept this clandestine correspondence. As his eyes scanned the delicately inked words, a quiet storm brewed, quaking the very foundation of trust that had so presumptuously been assumed unshakable. Beneath the heavy silence, the king's chambers transformed into a theatre of impending confrontation. His heart, a well of both thought and vulnerability, throbbed with the rhythm of betrayal. The fragile truce of family loyalty stood on the precipice of collapse, threatening to unravel with every laboured breath. The secret carried within the whispering parchment was now a roaring tempest through which the king must navigate his realm. During the inevitable confrontation, charged with electric tension, William stood defensively, the weight of royalty pressing coldly on his shoulders. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, an electric anticipation crackling as each gaze held the promise of discord or the possibility of mutual devastation. In the king's eyes, a sense of hurt burned deep, a betrayal veiled in familial warmth by his trusted sister Anne. From the flames of suspicion rose the haunting question: how many more shadows lurked within his circle masquerading as allies? Doubt sown so unexpectedly tugged brutally at the threads of his steadfastness. Desperation and determination mingled. He sought to suppress the flames before they engulfed the monarchy, but wary of the wildfire it could spark, such suppression had consequences that could slip beyond his nimble grasp. William's attempt to reason with the king was like wading upstream in a fast-flooding river. Each word, intended to placate, cut deeper, creating chasms where there should have been repair. He too wrestled with conflicting allegiances, an internal battle of heart versus duty. Their heated exchange, a symphony of regal voices, raised in emotional crescendo, left no room for peace. Instead, it etched lines in stone, where once there were none, fewer bridges left to barter across the gulf of misunderstanding. And so, in the quiet aftermath, a new spectre edged onto the scene, lured by the scent of instability, a player armed with their own secrets, poised to exploit the brewing chaos. The palace, once a bastion of ethereal Elad, ants, now buzzed under the oppressive weight of a hidden war. Rumours slithered through its gilded halls and spilled into the servants' quarters below. Eyes watched and ears strained, each whisper sharpening the spectre of silent rebellion. The king's sovereignty now resembling a fragile tapestry of intertwined fates, hovered precariously in the balance. As the king grappled with this newfound breach, a rumble beneath the palace stones signified the force of approaching storms, both within the walls and across the kingdom's sprawling lands. Uncertainty hung like a dense fog, blurring the lines between friend and foe, while a deeper, far more insidious revelation loomed just beyond the horizon, ready to eclipse loyalty with treachery and promises of allegiance with tides of ambition. The grand hall lay still, hushed in the aftermath of a moment that would change everything. Princess Anne, standing regal yet vulnerable against the opulent backdrop of history, had chosen this moment to unravel the fabric of her silence. Her voice, both fragile and resolute, sliced through the air like a blade, each word delivered with an intensity that held the weight of inevitability. She knew, as everyone gathered did, that this confession was no mere act of defiance, but a proclamation of truths long buried beneath layers of gilded deceit. This was the catalyst of chaos, destined to unleash a storm that threatened not just the structure, but the very soul of the monarchy she was born into. In Anne's eyes, a fire danced, a flicker of rebellious courage, as she locked gazes with her brother, the once favoured heir to legacy and throne. She had planned this revelation with precision, a chess move in a game where every piece mattered. Breaking her silence was not an impulse, but a decision wrought from months of contemplation, where the shadows of the past loomed large over any path she dared to tread. Her revelation was not just a breach of decorum, but a beacon to her brother, William, the prince she believed held a latent promise of leadership that could salvage their family's tarnishing legacy. William, caught in the crossfire of ambition and destiny, had long been seen as the dutiful son, overshadowed by the intricate power play within the family's ancient corridors. Yet Anne believed in his strength to see beyond the facade of grandeur, a vision untainted by the corruption of unchecked power. Her confession was a testament to the bond they shared, a tether of trust forged in whispered conversations and clandestine meetings hidden from the eyes of their father, the mighty king. The unraveling of secrets was not reserved for the present alone. Anne, with a voice trembling with the weight of yesterdays, painted a picture of a past stained with betrayal, their past, a sibling bond entwined with shared dreams and unspoken tensions, now laid bare. She spoke of the dark pact made with their father, a king who had long used their promise against them as both shield and sword, a pact that Anne now shattered with the truth to strip away the binding threads tied tightly around their lineage. In her revelation, Anne bore her soul, speaking not just of the sacrifices demanded by the crown, but of those offered willingly, her own heart offered on the altar of duty. Hers were sacrifices unseen by the world, the love she had forsaken, the choices she never allowed herself to consider. Each sacrifice a stone in the mosaic of a life lived in the shadows of a duty too heavy, in the eye of the throne's relentless storm. Yet, within the heart of the monarchy, Anne exposed the unseen power structures, those formidable forces behind the throne that manipulated the royal strings with dexterous precision. She laid bare the workings of shadowy councils, whose whispers of influence tainted the purity of royal governance, a faceless adversary that now stepped into the light. The air within the palace trembled as Anne's confession sent ripples across its majestic halls. The instantaneous fallout ignited a firestorm, with factions forming in whispers and glances, each gaze a silent vow of allegiance or rebellion. Allies once trusted receded into uncertainty, while newfound bonds emerged from beneath the rubble of shattered trust. With Anne's confession echoing through the hallowed halls, royal power faces its greatest test as trust is shattered and loyalties questioned. As the dust settled, the monarchy stood at the precipice of a precipice so profound, only time would unravel whether Anne's sacrifice birthed a dynasty renewed or heralded its untimely ruin. The palace divides as clandestine factions emerge from the shadows, with loyalty and rebellion interwoven, who will stand with tradition and who will support a coup for transparency. In the shadows, the power struggle entwines truth and deception, each side playing for keeps. Within the grand and ancient halls of power, a whispering tide rises, an undercurrent of unrest that swells beneath the polished surfaces. These corridors, once bastions of unquestioned loyalty, now echo with hurried, secretive murmurs and footfalls, hushed meetings tucked into corners where gilded portraits hang and shadows brood. The once stalwart nobility find themselves in a crucible of choice, to cleave to the legacy of tradition or grasp the thorny promise of change. Two worlds collide within this noble haven, each brimming with its actors, their roles not merely chosen, but thrust upon them by destiny. On one stage, the loyalists, an assembly of steely resolve and blind allegiance, clinging to the king's divine right as if to a lifeline in a storm, standing firmly in their conviction that the old ways hold a tranquility unmatched by the chaos of reform. They brace themselves against the tide with whispered oaths of fealty. Across the chasm, the rebels stir, their ideals alight with the fervor of revolution. They are the bears of light cutting through the darkness of deception, igniting hope that the monarchy's shrouded secrets will yield to the luminous truth. Their leaders, figures enrobed by shrewd intellects and boiling blood, stand resolute. Where once was friendship, now lies fissures carved by fiery words and raw passion. Within this cauldron of discord, the air crackles with tensions that weave their way through the tapestry of the realm. Sympathizers from both camps barter loyalties, their conversations veiled veneers of civility, masking agendas awaiting the opportune moment to strike. Trust is currency, traded with deceit's glimmer hidden beneath the surface. The once seamless fabric of the monarchy begins to unravel, each thread pulled by untold alliances and ruthless betrayal. This conflict grips not merely the hearts within palace walls, but the soul of an entire nation. The people's faith in their sovereign is a tenuous thread, stretched thin by discord's loom, as rumors of treachery seep beyond the castle gates. The succession of the crown itself is thrust under scrutiny, as every move, every whisper pushes the monarchy further away from revered institution to a stage of scandal and intrigue. Yet, beneath the overt drama, clandestine pacts emerge, ripe with promise and betrayal. Meetings held under lunar veils fuel action plans, swathed in secrecy and silence, alliances untampered by public scrutiny. These covert discussions, offering glimpses into the scheming minds, unfurl a battleground where loyalty is tentatively pledged and freely broken, leaving behind the shattered remnants of camaraderie in their wake. This schism scratches deeper still, setting a precarious stage where friendships transform into observer and quarry within breaths. As new alliances blossom and loyalties are questioned, the clamor of rebellion grows louder, an invisible storm brewing just beyond the horizon, a tempest waiting patiently for its time to unleash havoc. As shadows lengthen, the true strength of each side's convictions will determine the future of the crown, setting the stage for unprecedented shifts. As the royal scandal erupts beyond the palace walls, the public's reaction is a thunderous chorus of shock, anger, and intrigue. In an unprecedented media frenzy, the monarchy's stranglehold on privacy is exposed, plunging the kingdom into a storm of speculation and disbelief. The moment the story breaks, the palace becomes the eye of the storm, with every available newsperson and onlooker converging like moths to a flame. The atmosphere crackles with tension, anticipation thick in the air, as if the very walls might whisper their secrets to the crowd gathered outside. Traditionalists, staunch defenders of the crown, find themselves in a heated dance with modernists who call for transparency, justice, and perhaps even vengeance. It is a nation holding its breath, caught in the throes of an unprecedented reckoning. Inside the palace, sentinels of decorum wrestle with the beast of public outrage, scrambling to transform chaos into command. Each statement issued is carefully crafted, yet elusive, whispered like an incantation meant to tame the ravenous curiosity that has gripped the populace. But how much control can be maintained when the winds of change roar through society's corridors, demanding that shadows be illuminated, sins laid bare? In homes and marketplaces, the voices of ordinary citizens echo through to bustling streets. Filled with passion and moral inquiry, there lies a dichotomy. Respect for tradition clashes with fierce call, S for revolution, as if the public themselves are the architects of the monarchy's unknown future. Voices of analysts pierce the cacophony, resonating with an eerie clarity. They dissect the fallout like master surgeons. Some see an aging institution on the brink of renaissance. Others perceive it teetering at the edge of irreparable fracture. Historians trace back the royal lineage, searching for signs, patterns, omens that might have foretold such a plight. It seems an entire country stands entwined with the fate of the family, both enthralled and appalled, participants in a centuries-old drama reborn. But it is within the gilded confines of power that the true treachery lurks. Amidst discreet glances and whispered confidences, a plot unravels with remarkable audacity. Closest advisors, sworn to fealty and loyalty, find their own shadows lengthening into avenues of betrayal. Information slips through guarded lips like grains of sand through fingers, lost but not forgotten as they land where they can fester, multiply, and breach the sanctity of historical order for personal enrichment. The true scandal, it seems, is not solely of royal origin, but woven by those who thrive in the court's dark corners. With public sentiment simmering, the monarchy is pushed to respond, poised on the brink of transformation or disaster, depending on the next move. Will they lean into the storm, embrace change, or will they seek refuge behind tradition, hoping that the ancient walls can withstand yet another tempest? This is the crossroad, and whatever path is chosen, one thing is certain: the tapestry of history is being rewoven before their eyes, thread by thread, knot by knot. In a race against time and tide, the royal family devises strategies to either reclaim their lost prestige or face irreversible disintegration. As high-stakes maneuvers unfold, hearts and minds hang in the balance. Will redemption be within their grasp, or is ruin inevitable? The king stands at the helm of a nation adrift, determined to reignite the flickering embers of faith that once burned brightly within his realm. His eyes reflect a steely resolve, set upon a campaign that aims not only to solidify control, but to restore the waning trust of a disenchanted populace. Yet, as he moves his pieces across this grand chessboard, shadows of dissent slither through the cracks. Loyalists are pitted against reformists, voices of opposition churning, like a tempest brewing within the court's corridors. Every step is fraught with risk, as the king bets not just his crown, but the very essence of a royal legacy woven throughout the chronicles of time. Meanwhile, William, caught in the vortex of impending turbulence, assumes the mantle of a mediator, a role laden with peril, yet glimmering with promise. His heart beats with earnest hope, envisioning a path that could neither undo the past nor forsake the future. He navigates these deep waters with clarity of purpose, a bid to heal wounds old and new, to bridge the widening chasm within his family and beyond. Each conversation is a delicate dance, tongues laden with diplomacy and truth. A tightrope walk, fraught with potential ruin or reconciliation, as his every word could tip the scales of their shared destiny. In stark contrast, Anne's resolve emerges ironclad and unwavering, her voice relentless in its pursuit of truth and reform. She stands as a beacon in the shadowed halls, rallying unexpected allies to her cause with the fierce conviction that they can forge a future untainted by the missteps of yore. Her daring stance draws admiration and ire alike, her strategies clandestine yet palpably effective. Through diaries and whispers, she mobilizes change, sowing the seeds of a future yet to be claimed. Amidst this tumult, she remains steadfast, her path aligned with the belief that justice and accountability bear the weight of their walls. Behind the heavy drapery and the gilded facades, a symphony of secret strategies plays out, unseen yet profoundly felt. Players both seasoned and green weave their intricate web, manipulating media narratives, forging alliances both surprising and strategic. Their savvy moves cast long shadows, blurring the lines between ally and adversary, planting seeds of discord that threaten to bloom into calamity, while others nurture kernels of hope, whispering of tomorrow's dawn. The public watches, enthralled by the unfolding drama, as these unseen hands guide destinies in a concert of ambition and avarice. Within the sanctuary of their shared blood, emotional battles rage, an opera of love entangled with resentment, as bonds are tested and truths laid bare. Hearts clash in profound discord, yet beneath the tumult lies an unbreakable thread, binding them to a shared history, a legacy of triumphs and trials. Each glance holds a past unspoken, each embrace a future fraught with promise or peril. As the family teeters on the knife's edge, their collective story unfolds, a narrative as ancient as it is eternal, where the beating of hearts may either forge an indomitable reign or resonate with the final echoes of an era. The tension reaches its zenith, poised on a precipice of transformation or obliteration. A public address looms on the horizon, meticulously orchestrated to either lay bare the saga in all its sordid detail or to restore faith once fractured. The air is electric with anticipation, every soul breathless in wait, as the monarchy stands ready to confront its rendezvous with fate. The world holds its breath as the stage is set, not merely for a tale of trials and triumphs, but for an ultimate reckoning where fortunes will rise or crumble and the echoes of their choice will reverberate through the corridors of history. With anticipation reaching a crescendo, the royal family prepares for a showdown that will determine their fate and future legacy. As the palace holds its breath, the air buzzes with electricity, a symphony of anticipation that swells in the hearts of the gathered crowd. The royal address looms like a storm on the horizon, promising revelations that could shatter serenity or usher in an era of luminosity. The nation, teetering on the edge of uncertainty, clings to the hope that from this abyss of secrets will rise an unfaltering new dawn. The stage is set, the halls brimming with whispered speculations, each breath a prayer for clarity, for redemption that may yet redefine the monarchy's enduring legacy. Within the opulent walls, the royal family stands together, a tapestry of unity woven with threads of recent turmoil. Every gesture and glance an unvoiced testament to fortitude amidst fracture. Their roles drawn sharply by the events that have coursed through these ancient halls. It is Jennifer, the erstwhile reluctant centre of all that unfolded, who embodies the embodiment of the family's narrative. A phoenix, poised without yet knowing flight or fall. At her side, stalwart siblings and resolute elders form a bulwark against the judgment of an era that examines their every action through scrutinizing lenses. The room's breath stills as Anne, gracious, fierce, unerringly courageous, steps to the fore. Her visage, a mosaic of vulnerability and resolute will, captures the world's gaze in an unyielding grip. Every eye, every heart tuned to her articulation of trials endured and truths unveiled. She speaks without falter, her voice steady, her words heavy with the cost of candor. Like a torchbearer in the dark, she illuminates the shadows that had gathered thick as the mists of 1,000 dawns on their lineage. Race unfolds as confessions, those long held and burdensome, spill forth, each syllable a weight lifted, a burden shared with an audience thirsty for honesty. Apologies wind through the room, like gentle streams cleansing jagged stones. In this moment, it is as if the very palace itself lets out a sigh of relief. Walls that bore witness now softened by forgiveness and understanding. The audience, captivated and silent, stands at the crossroads where narrative becomes redemption, enmeshed in the poignant catharsis of revelations unraveling before them. Outside, a nation bears witness, the ripples of this address sending tidal waves through the sea of public opinion. Redemption claws with tenacity against disgrace, each wave crashing against the cliffs of history, reshaping them. Skepticism battles with hope, a turbulent dance where no step lacks consequence. A collective breath holds, destined to shift the tides of favor or fall, dictating a new direction for both the House of Power and the people who look to it for guidance, as once they had the stars. From crisis emerges the tender shoots of healing. The palace, once a bastion of cloistered secrecy, now declares its intent to guide history anew. Plans to forge this new chapter unfold with a foresight sharpened by lessons hard learned. Reformation stands ready, its banners raised high against the sorrow-worn canopy of yesterday's mistakes. Yet these new paths promise hope, an uncharted journey toward transparency, toward a tapestry where every thread weaves together resilience, fortitude, and clarity. With the past uncovered and the future unfolding, the monarchy steps into a new era, forever marked by secrets unraveled and truth made manifest. The audience, hearts still captured by the unfolding tale, recognizes the promise of rebirth, the possibility that from shattered pieces can rise a stronger, brighter whole. It is here, at the convergence of past and future, that the royal lineage must finally make its stand, confronting the old with the hope that what emerges shall not only survive, but indeed thrive. In the reflective silence following revelation, the essence of the monarchy finds itself recalibrated, woven more tightly with the threads of sincerity that now bind its every decision and declaration. This transformation serves as both a beacon and a challenge, where the past's shadows fall away to reveal a tapestry reimagined. Learning from history, the royal family breathes life into its renewed roles, an ensemble cast committed to service and sincerity, each member's duty rewritten upon the dawn of truth. As public sentiment harmonizes with this new reality, the country's identity shifts, informed now by a narrative both grand and humble. The story of a monarchy that dared to falter, only to rise, resonates on the global stage. Witnessed by nations far and wide, some see it as a testament to resilience. Others, a cautionary tale that echoes through the chambers of governance and tradition worldwide. Looking forward, the age-old customs of the house undergo gentle but firm reshaping as antiquity bends to the sunlight of openness and authenticity. Through this lens, the monarchy redefines its ceremonies and purposes, aligning them with the stars of a transparent sky, one where human flaws meet divine intention in candid embraces. Poised at the brink of what is yet to come, the curtain lifts on the next chapter. It is one that speaks of vigor, of lessons deeply ingrained, and of a future illuminated by the wisdom gleaned from trials endured. Hope surges against the horizon like the tide, promising renewal, a testament to the enduring spirit that connects yesterday to tomorrow. And so, as the echoes of transformation begin to settle, they leave behind an indelible resonance, one of a monarchy unbroken, forever changed. Guided by an unwavering dedication to the truth, they march forward, ready to meet history, not as a relic of the past, but as dynamic architects of the future, sculpting destiny with the light of truth leading them on.